So, Tom, let's kick things off with a big question. How can someone actually learn to speak English with confidence? Not just memorize words, but really feel comfortable using the language.
That's the million-dollar question, Mia. And you know what? Instead of spending 10 years figuring it out the hard way, we're going to shrink that down for our listeners. In just 10 minutes, we'll share the lessons it took others a decade or more to learn.
That's why we're here on Easylish. We want to make the journey faster, clearer, and way less painful. Now, before we dive in, Tom, you've had quite a history with languages yourself, haven't you?
Oh, definitely. I've been at this for over 2 decades, learning French, Chinese, and Spanish. And with time, I became confident in all of them. But here's the twist: not every language went that smoothly for me.
You're talking about the ones that didn't quite stick?
Exactly. I gave Italian, Malay, and Japanese a try, but honestly, my results there were, let's just say, less than impressive. Which got me thinking, why did some languages click while others faded away? What worked, what didn't, and what lessons can we pull from that for English learners?
And today you've promised to share 5 key insights that come from both linguistic research and your personal experience. So it's a mix of science and story.
Right? And by the end, you'll have 5 strategies you can lean on, plus the opposite mistakes to avoid, so you can finally become that confident English speaker.
Sounds like a plan. So, where do we start?
Tip number 1: focus. If you want to succeed, you've got to put your blinkers on.
Blinkers, like the ones horses wear so they can't look sideways during a race?
Exactly. The idea is simple: block out distractions and zero in on what matters. Otherwise, life will keep pulling your attention everywhere, and your English study will always get pushed aside.
Did you ever experience that firsthand?
Oh, for sure. I actually lived in Italy for 2 months and even taught English to the Italian police. During that time, I picked up enough Italian to order coffee, chat in shops, and survive daily life. When I came back home, I practiced for maybe another week or two, but then, poof, life got busy, my focus slipped, and my Italian learning just fizzled out.
So it wasn't that you couldn't learn, it's that it wasn't your priority.
Exactly, that was the big lesson. If you don't make your English practice a top priority, something else will always jump in front of it. People often say, I don't have time. But the truth is, that really means I choose not to make time.
That's powerful because we all have the same 24 hours. If you skip your English class, you'll fill that hour with something else. It's about choice, not time.
And once you realize it's a choice, you start taking responsibility. Either you choose to study or you choose not to. But don't trick yourself into thinking it's about time. It's about focus.
All right, so lesson 1 is about sharpening your focus. What about lesson 2?
Persistence, and I love that word. Persistence means you keep going, even when it feels slow or tough.
So, English learning isn't a quick sprint, it's more like a marathon.
Exactly. A lot of influencers on social media promise magic. Get fluent in 3 months, or learn English with 5 words in 10 minutes. It sounds exciting, but it's not realistic. True progress takes time.
Do we know roughly how long?
According to Cambridge English, moving up just one level, like from B1 to B2, usually takes around 200 hours of structured study. And the higher you go, the longer it takes. That's why most language schools set their courses for 9 months to a year per level.
Wow. So, anyone who thinks they'll be fluent in a couple of weeks is setting themselves up for disappointment.
Right. But here's the key: persistence is so much easier when you actually enjoy your study. If your materials are fun, engaging, and interesting, you'll naturally want to keep going. That's the secret to lasting progress.
Okay, so we've got focus and persistence. What's number 3?
Find your mojo. And by mojo, I mean motivation. You need to tap into your personal reasons for learning English.
So it's not just about, I want to be fluent someday, but about having clear, specific goals that keep you moving.
Exactly. I see comments all the time from beginners saying, I want to be fluent in English. And while that's a nice dream, it's too vague. What does fluent even mean, and by when? It's like reaching for the stars, too far away to grab.
So, what would be a better goal?
Tom, something more concrete like, I want to be able to express my ideas on common topics within 6 months. That's specific, realistic, and measurable. A teacher could even say, perfect, we'll move you from A2 to B1 in that time.
And that's motivating because you can track progress and actually see yourself getting closer to the target.
Exactly. That kind of clarity fuels your motivation. And that's what keeps you going when things get tough.
So, Tom, last time we left off with motivation, and honestly, motivation feels like this mysterious energy that comes and goes. How do you keep it alive?
Well, the thing about motivation is this: you've got to feed it. Think of it like having a pet. If you have a dog or a cat and you don't feed them, they lose energy, they get sluggish, and eventually, well, you know what happens. Motivation works the same way. If you neglect it, it simply fades away.
So, the question is, what do we feed motivation with?
The best fuel is your why. You've got to remind yourself why you're even learning English in the first place. Maybe it's travel. You want to connect with people across the world. Or maybe you're preparing for IELTS. But here's the thing: IELTS itself isn't really the goal. The test is just the doorway. The deeper reason might be studying abroad, working overseas, or even building a new life for your family. That's the real why.
And that's what keeps you moving when the road gets tough. When motivation dips, remembering your why is like a reset button.
Exactly. And let me share something personal. When I was learning Spanish in Madrid, I hit that same low point. I'd been living there for about a year, speaking the basics, ordering food, saying the usual phrases, but I felt stuck. My roommate told me, why bother with classes? Just go out and talk to people on the street. But the truth was, I kept repeating the same small set of phrases, and I wasn't really expanding.
So, what did you do?
I joined a class, and it was a game changer. Suddenly, I wasn't just memorizing more vocabulary and grammar. I was also connecting with people who were in the same situation as me.
You weren't literally in the same boat, but in the same boat metaphorically.
Exactly. We were all struggling, learning, encouraging each other. And that sense of community made a huge difference. When my motivation dipped, my classmates lifted me up, and I did the same for them. Honestly, joining that Spanish course was the smartest decision I made, even though I was already living in Spain.
That's such an important point. Sometimes motivation comes from other people, and it's not just about studying, it's about connecting.
Yes, and one more trick: reward yourself. Celebrate milestones no matter how small. Finished a month of daily study? Treat yourself. Learn to speak about 3 new topics? Celebrate it. Go see a movie, buy yourself a book, or just acknowledge your progress. And
I love that. Rewards keep the fire alive. It's like telling your brain, hey, this effort matters. Keep it up.
exactly. So feed your motivation, keep your why close, connect with others, and give yourself rewards.
All right, I feel like you're ready to hand us another secret. What's next?
Number 4, big goals, small steps.
That sounds like something hikers would say.
And funny enough, it's the perfect analogy. Imagine you're hiking in the mountains. If you tell yourself, we're going to walk 10 kilometers in a giant loop, it feels overwhelming. But if you break it down, first we climb to that peak, then we head to that lake, Then we go down to the Valley Village. Suddenly it feels doable. Small steps get you there.
So, how does that look for language learning?
When I first moved to China, I dreamed of speaking fluent Chinese, but I realized aiming straight for fluency wasn't practical. So I broke it into stages. In my first year, I just wanted to communicate with family and friends, simple, everyday things. Then, my second goal was to manage daily conversations in shops and on the street. And finally, I aimed to function at work in Chinese. Three big goals broken into yearly steps.
And how did you make those steps happen?
Discipline. Every morning for about 8 months, I went to class at 8 a.m. for an hour and a half before work. Day after day, that consistency brought me up to around an A2 level, enough to have simple conversations with friends and family. Saying things like, pass me the sugar, or I like this. Small but powerful.
So, the key lesson is don't just dream of the big mountain. Focus on the small steps that keep you climbing.
Exactly. Big goals give you direction, but small steps keep you moving in the present moment.
So, Tom, we just talked about breaking big goals into smaller steps. But here's the thing sometimes those big goals still feel overwhelming, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. When you think too much about the mountain in front of you, it can feel crushing. You end up stuck in your head, lost in the what ifs, instead of actually moving forward.
And that's where small steps help you stay grounded in the moment. Instead of staring at the entire mountain, you just look at the next step.
Exactly. Let's say your big goal is getting a band 7 on the IELTS exam. If you break that into 3 month chunks, what you'll focus on in the first term, the second, and the third, suddenly it feels achievable. The big dream stays in sight, but the steps give you direction right now.
That's such a good way to look at it. Okay, so what comes next on your list?
Point number 5, practice and then practice a lot.
I can almost hear students sighing right now because most of us think we're practicing when we're really just studying.
Exactly. That was my mistake with French in school. For years, all I did was read, memorize grammar rules, and do a bit of listening. It was passive. We hardly spoke, we rarely wrote, and the result was predictable. After 10 years of French, I hit 18 and realized I still couldn't actually speak the language,
That's crazy. 10 years of effort and almost no usable skill.
right? It's ridiculous, but it happens to so many learners. That's why practice is essential. When you're studying from a video, a book, or even this podcast, don't just take notes. Practice immediately. Say the phrases out loud. Twist them into different sentences. Play with them.
So, practice isn't just about talking to other people, it can also be practicing alone, right?
Absolutely. You can practice with classmates online, in person, or even by yourself. The point is, for every bit of study, match it with practice. Do as much output as input. That balance is what makes you a confident speaker.
All right, so we've covered focus, persistence, motivation, small steps, and practice. Is that the whole list?
Well, almost. I did say 5 points, but I've got a bonus tip. Let's call it number 6, review.
Review. As in, going back over what you've already learned?
Exactly, there's a ton of research behind it. You might have heard of Hermann Ebbinghaus and his forgetting curve. Basically, if you don't review within 24 hours, you can lose up to 70% of what you studied. And after a week, even more disappears.
That's wild. So, all those hours people spend studying can just vanish without review?
Pretty much. That's why spaced repetition is so popular. Apps like Duolingo use it all the time. You learn a word, it comes back the next day, then again a few days later, then again after a week. It's a cycle that locks the knowledge in.
And how do you personally review?
After a class, I go back over my notes a few hours later. Then, a day or two after that, I don't just reread the notes. I use the topic in a new way. If we studied vocabulary about weather, I'll listen to a weather report or watch a movie where people talk about storms. That way, the language gets recycled in different contexts.
So it's not just review, it's recycling the knowledge until it feels natural.
Exactly, reviewing and recycling. It doesn't even take that much time, but it makes all the difference.
And once again, it comes down to choice. Not, I don't have time to review, but I choose whether or not to review.
Spot on.
So, Tom, let's wrap this up.
Right, we've covered 6 things today: focus, persistence, motivation, small steps, practice, and review. These are the foundations for becoming a confident English speaker. And yes, this advice mixes research with real life experience because that's how I built my own learning systems.
And that's what makes it practical. Listeners, you've now got the tools in your hands.
Exactly. So keep going, stay consistent, and make those choices that push your English forward.
That's it for this episode of Easylish. Thanks for spending your time with us, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take care, stay focused, and keep practicing. Bye for now.